Okay, page 5, multi-step equations. Page 5. Multi-step equations. And this is a review of a pre-algebra concept. So we're only spending one day on it. We're taking notes. We're doing practice. We're moving on. Multi-step equations. When we're solving multi, meaning multiple, multi-step equations, we have some very specific rules we follow. The first thing we do is we combine like terms. And that's why yesterday, that was our review. Yesterday, our entire lesson was reviewing the skill of combining like terms, because you have to be able to do this in order to solve a multi-step equation. After you combine like terms, step number 2 is to move the smaller variable. You move the smaller variable. And then the third and final step is to solve using inverse operations. Solve using inverse operations. And again, this is a review from PreAlgebra, so are there really more things that you can do to that? Yeah. And we'll talk through them. But since it's such a big review, we're not going to spend a lot of time going over the minute, the tiny little details. All right, so let's practice. let's just dive in. Let's write down the first one. 4 parentheses, 4 times the quantity 5n minus 7. 4 times the quantity 5n minus 7 equals 10n plus 2. So you should write that down. Now, I like to, you don't have to, but I like to draw a line down the equal sign. It keeps me organized. It keeps my paper, my math problem together. It allows me to talk about the left side and talk about the right side and make sense. All right, so step number 1 is to combine like terms. So if I'm looking at this problem, I have to simplify. I have to make it easier. I have to combine like terms. I have to do what I learned yesterday. So if I'm looking at the right side, what should I, or this is the left side. If I'm looking at the left side, what should I do to the left side? I should use the distributive property, right? 4 times 5n is 20n. And 4 times negative 7, Aiden, negative 28. Equals, do I have to do anything to the right side? Can you do anything? No. So step number 1 was to combine like terms. So I did that. I simplified the left side, and the right side was already simplified, right? I just double checked. So step number 2 says move the smaller variable. In all actuality, it doesn't matter which variable you move. I like to move the smaller variable because that means I'm not going to have a negative number. But you could move 20. I'm going to move 10n because 10n is smaller than 20n. It's the smaller variable. Anytime you take a value and move it across the equal sign, across this line, you do the opposite. So what's the opposite of 10n? Negative or minus 10n. Now let's simplify the left side. 20n minus 10n is 10n. What about this negative 28? Just drop it down. Nothing happened to it, so I just bring it down. Equals. These are opposites, they're inverses. They cancel each other out. On the right side, I'm left with plus 2, positive 2, so I can just write down 2, because it's positive, and I don't need the plus sign to show me it's positive. Now, step number 3 is solve using inverse operations. This is a 2-step equation. I do 2 things and I'm done. I want the n, the variable, by itself, so which number do I move away first? 28, the minus 28. What's the opposite of minus 28? Plus 28, positive 28. Simplify the left side. 10n, nothing happened, so I just bring it down. My 28s are inverses, negative and a positive, so they disappear. Equals 2 plus 28 is 30. One more thing. What operation is shown right here? Multiply 10 times n. What's the inverse? Division, divide by 10. My 10s cancel out. They're inverses. N equals 3. Ladies and gentlemen, what you can do once you've done that, and you don't have to do it now, but what you can do is you can check it using a calculator. My value for n is 3, so I'm going to go back to my original problem. 4 parentheses 5 times, and instead of n, I'm going to put 3, minus 7, close parentheses. That equals 32. I'm going to check the other side. 10 times 3 plus 2. Did I get the same value? So I know I'm right, because it's an equal problem. This side is equal to this side. All right, let's try a harder problem. 4x plus 5 times the quantity 7x minus 3 equals 9 times the quantity x minus 5. I'm going to draw a line down the equal sign to help me stay organized. And step number 1 tells me to combine like terms. So if you look at the left side of the problem, what do I have to get rid of first? What do I have to do first on the left side? Over here on the left side, Braden, what do I have to do first? You use the distributive property. I've got to get rid of those parentheses. Order of operations always says parentheses first, but I can't do that because there's a variable inside. So let's get rid of the parentheses. Positive 5 gets distributed. Did this 4x change?
No.
Nope. Positive 5 times 7x. 35x. What should I put between them? Y a plus. Yeah. It's positive 35x, so I'm going to put a plus. 5, positive 5 times negative 3. Negative 15 equals, tell me about the right side. What should I do? Distributive property again. 9 times x is 9 times negative 5. All right, let's go back to the left side. Anything else I can combine over here? 4x plus 35x. What's 4x plus 35x? 39x. What do I do with this? Just bring it down, minus 15, because nothing happened to it. Anything to simplify on the right side? No. All right, am I done combining like terms? Am I done simplifying? Anything to simplify over here? And no. All right, so we're done. Step number 2, move the smaller variable. Which side, which one is smaller? 9x. I'm going to take 9x and I'm going to move it across. Anytime you move it across, you do the opposite. Minus 9x, right? $39x minus 9x. 30x minus 15 equals, inverses cancel out. What's left over? Perfect. That minus sign belongs to the 45. Negative 45. I moved the smaller variable. Now I'm on to step number 3, which is solve using inverse operations. Which one do I get rid of first? How do you get rid of minus 15? You add it, you plus 15. The 15s cancel out because they're opposites. 30x equals negative 45 plus 15 is negative 30. One last step, divide by 30, divide by 30. Negative 1. All right, one last practice problem. You're going to have to write the words, though. I apologize, you have to write 2 sentences. You'll survive, though. I know, it's a lot. Please write down 6 more than 5 times a number is the same as 9 less than twice the number. Find the number. 6 more than 5 times a number is the same as 9 less than twice the number. Find the number. Now I'm going to use 4 different colors of highlighter to organize this. If you have your own highlighters and you're a color coordinated person that makes sense to you, you go for it. If you don't have highlighters, but color coordination works for you. There are colored pencils underneath your desk in the pencil box. So we're going to chunk this into mathematical terms, right? And yesterday we talked about terms are numbers and their operation. So if I start, I'm going to go to 6 more than. That's my first term. 6 more than. 6 more than. What does 6 more than look like mathematically? Chance says 6 plus. Do you guys agree? Yeah, 6 more than. More than means plus. 6 more than. 6 plus. My next chunk that goes together is 5 times a number. What does that look like mathematically? 5 times a number. Arlo? Yeah, n for number. 5n. 5 times a number. 5n. Right, so we're chunking it mathematically. 6 more than. 6 plus. 5 times a number. 5 times n. Is the same as. Equals. So that's my next one. Is the same as. Sometimes it's just is. It doesn't have the same as. Is means equal. I'm not going to highlight this one because this is so important. I don't want it to get lost. 9 less than. However, some of you are going to say, oh yeah, easy, 9 minus. And I'm going to say, no way. If you have $100 and I have 9 less than you, if you have $10 and I have 9 less than you, if you have $20 and I have 9 less than you, you are not taking 9 minus 20, 9 minus 10, 9 minus 100. 9 less than is the only one that does this. What does 9 less than mean? Zach? Good. It means minus 9. It does not mean 9 minus. If it said 9 and then the word minus, you betcha you'd write 9 minus. But since it says 9 less than, it matters. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in subtraction, does the order matter in subtraction? Yes. You have to be super careful when you have a minus problem. When you have a subtraction problem, a word problem that tells you to subtract, you have to be super careful. Do I have to be careful with addition? No. It doesn't matter which way I add, it's going to be fine. But if it's a subtraction problem, you have to really stop and really think about it. All right, what's my next phrase? Twice the number. What does twice the number look like mathematically? What number did we choose this time? N. 2. Ah, you said X and I started to write it. N. 2N. Twice means times 2. The number. All right, now let's solve it. Anything to simplify? Anything to simplify? No. Move the smaller variable. Which one? 2n. I'm moving it across, so I'm going to do the opposite, which is minus 2n. Simplify the left side. 6. What? What's 5n minus 2n is 3n. What operation should I put? Plus, because it's positive. Equals, what's left over on the right side? You do that and I'll check it with you. I do not. Nobody sees a MacBook in here that doesn't belong to them, right? Okay. Which one do I move now? The 6 or the 3? 6 minus 6 3n equals, what's negative 9 minus 6? Negative 15. One more step. Divide by 3. Negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5.